Hey everybody, Teresa here from Inspiration Cards, and I'm back to share our third card using the Sweet Conversations stamp set for this month's Stamp Jammies online card class. This is such a cute stamp set, and I hope you've been enjoying the cards so far. If you missed out on getting the full class kit, that's okay. You can still get just the class supplies sent directly to you for only $25. All you have to do is send me an email at inspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com, or you can drop a comment below. All right, let's flip this around and get to some crafting. So here's this week's card. It's just a simple combination of petal pink and basic black. I just love how basic black really helps different colors pop. So I thought this would be a fun combination for this week's card. So what you're gonna need from your class supply kit is you're going to want your stack of petal pink. So this is just a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 petal pink. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3 pieces of basic white, right? Just a simple square along with your other 2 pieces. And then we're gonna have 1 piece of basic black. So the largest piece of basic white and the basic black are basically a quarter sheet of an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. And then we've got just a little strip of petal pink to go along with it. All right, now to start us off, I always like to just fold my card base in half, get that done. Use my bone folder, get that nice crisp, clean fold. There we go. Now I can set that aside. And I'm going to grab the largest piece of basic white. There we go. Just to stamp a little something on the inside of the card. I always like to stamp a little something. Usually it's just an image. Sometimes it'll be a phrase. But this time I'm just going to do a simple little something near the bottom. So we're going to grab the 2 stamps that have the 3 hearts connected. So we've got the solid and the outline image. So I'm going to start with the solid. I find it a little easier to do the outline second, as opposed to trying to fill in the outline after the fact. So I'm just going to take my petal pink and just gently tap my stamp on there. And there we go. Right in the center of the card. And then I'm gonna grab so I'm using my Tuxedo Black Memento ink for my black. There we go, and here's our outline. So again, just gonna gently tap that on my ink pad. And even if it's not lined up perfectly, you'll still get it pretty close. So there we go. Let's tuck that out of the way so that can dry and so I don't get ink on my fingers. And then from here, let's grab the next largest piece of basic white cardstock. And in the background, we're gonna actually stamp the largest circle of dots image. I'm not sure exactly what you would want to call it. It almost looks like, you know, when the dandelions turn into the wishes, it almost looks like that actually to me. All right, so I'm going to take this image and just with petal pink, I'm just going to stamp it randomly on the piece of cardstock. I'm not going to worry too much about this area here because we're going to cover that with our square. Go. And I'm going to do one more up there like that. There we go. I like to stamp in odd numbers. All right. Actually, I'm not going to close that just yet. I'm a little nervous about getting my fingers in my ink pad. It happens all the time, but we'll see if we can avoid it today. All right, so from here, we're gonna do a little tone-on-tone stamping with that strip of petal pink cardstock. Now you can use whichever image you want from here. I'm actually gonna take the little more plump heart and just do a little something along here. So again, just kind of just randomly on the cardstock and just shifting the heart every once in a while, just so it, right, so it looks a little bit different as you're going along here. There we go. All right, so we can set that aside to dry. All right, and then with our last piece here, our square image, I'm gonna add our sentiment right in the middle. So I love the happy to have you in my life sentiment. So this works whether it's for Valentine's Day, or it could be an anniversary, or it could even be just a just because card, right? Those cards, especially nowadays, are so appreciated. I always love getting just random cards in the mail. All right, so I'm gonna ink that up there. And that's gonna go right in the center. There we go. And I'm gonna take those same stamps that we used earlier, our 3 connected hearts. And again, just like before, I'm gonna stamp the solid hearts first, and then I'll do my outline of basic black afterwards. As you can see, I'm just gonna do it randomly around the phrase. And I'm not worried about getting it exactly onto my cardstock. It's always nice to actually have some kind of off the cardstock as well. So there we go. I'm actually gonna do one more right there. So that will make it a little tricky to do our outlines, but that's okay. So if you want, when you do something like this, if you want to have like a scrap piece of paper underneath, that works well. This is just a placement I picked up from IKEA years ago. And so I can just take, whether it's a damp cloth, a wet wipe, because of course I still, even with my youngest being, almost 9, I still have baby wipes around the house. So those definitely come in handy when I'm doing stuff like this, because you don't want to end up with ink on your project after. There we go. After you've spent all this time stamping. There we go. You can also, if you know how many hearts you need, you can also just ink up 1, 2, or 3, depending on how many you need. One tip is you do want to be a little careful with the black. You want to definitely give that a minute or so to dry, or you will end up with a little bit of a smudge like I did on my original there. All right, so just to make sure I don't get any extra ink on there, let's do that. And the lovely piece about this, I can wipe this down, or I can just flip it over. There we go. So in the interest of saving time, I'm just gonna flip that over and we can get to our sticking. Obviously, I'm gonna stick that one on last. Give that one a little bit of extra time to dry. So here's all our pieces. So I'm just gonna grab my Stamp and Seal here. I'm gonna start with, there we go, my piece of stamped basic white that's gonna go on the inside here. You want to center that as best you can. There we go. And then the basic black is going to be just a simple card mat. Again, this is going to help that petal pink really pop. It's also nice with the basic black from our stamped images to have a connection. A little bit of cardstock in the same color, right? The 2-color rule. Here we go. And here's our card front. There we go. I'm actually going to flip that around here. Oops. All right. These are just sliding all over today. There we go. It's all good. All right. Now, before I add that on with some dimensionals, I want to actually get my little strip of petal pink on here first. Now, if you want, you could pop up the strip of petal pink as well as your little square. I'm going to actually just stick with my square. So you want that just below center, and this guy's going to be just above center. Again, just a few dimensionals on the back here. And one more in the middle for good measure. There we go. And that's going to go just above my strip of petal pink. Voila! There we go. And as always, I have another card using the same stamp set. So the Sweet Conversation stamp set, like I said, I've been having a lot of fun crafting with this, especially leading up to Valentine's Day, right? Makes sense. So this is using the stamp set as well as the coordinating dies. So again, we've got that nice circle of dots. I use the large and the small in Blushing Bride, Pool Party, and then this is, oh my goodness, it's Highland Heather. Took me a second to remember. And then I die cut, you can die cut or you can fussy cut the hearts out of the coordinating Sweet Talk Designer Series paper. I just fussy cut these. And then the little envelope is one of the dies from the set. And then of course, gotta add a little bling. So there's my rhinestone basic jewels. So there you have it, and I'll be back next week with our last card featuring the Sweet Conversations stamp set. I hope you've been enjoying the cards so far. Now, the deadline has passed for March's Stamp Jammies online card class featuring the Quiet Meadow stamp set, but you can still get just the class supplies for only $25. If you want to get in on the full class card kit, for April, I'm going to be featuring the Dahlia Days stamp set. This is such a pretty stamp set, and it'd be great for birthdays, for Mother's Day, for so many different occasions. And so the deadline to get the full class kit for the Dahlia Days Stamp Jammies online card class is March the 12th. And it's $75, which includes, of course, class supplies, includes the Dahlia Days stamp set, along with one ink pad and some coordinating designer series paper. And of course, shipping to anywhere in Canada. If you're outside of Canada and you still want to join in, that's not a problem. We'll just add a little bit more for shipping and you're good to go. All right, I will see you guys next week. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can drop one in the comments or send me an email at inkspirationwiththeresa@gmail.com. And you can check out all my other projects on social, on Facebook and Instagram, or my blog at inkspirationcards.com. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon.